Welcome to another Cup of Joe. I'm your host, Joe Tumalo, CEO of Major and Plan Giving Development. And I am blessed today to have with me a wonderful guest, Jenny Kleintop, the spouse, significant other of Doug Kleintop. Yes, that Doug Kleintop. Who adds so much value to the work we do. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you for having me. And I did bring my mug, so I am ready for the Cup of Joe. Very excited.
What does it say?
It says, make something good today. So
Nice.
that is perfect for the occasion.
Apple pie or?
We could start with apple pie and then we can get into plan giving. Probably a good segue.
Good segue, right. So Jenny is a super smart person, founder of Philanthropy Ops, OPS, Philanthropy OPS, great name. How'd you come up with that name?
I love the profession. I love philanthropy and I love operations. And usually we shorten it to just ops for like my entire career. So philanthropy ops made sense. Okay.
I was thinking opportunities, but what the heck? Operations.
Oh, that's a good spin on it. I didn't think about that, Joe. We could run with that.
Opportunities, ops. So Jenny, you are really, really good at the operational side and data work, and you've helped me and lots of clients, hundreds of clients probably over the years.
Yes, I worked with over 100 different nonprofit organizations and then trained over 1,000 different individuals. So I have seen a lot in the industry and been able to help the industry, which I love doing. So it's been a great journey so far.
That's cool. So, my focus is plan giving, and you and I were just talking about some ideas. So for someone either could be had plan giving in their title or gets it and understands the opportunities with plan giving with non-cash gifts. Mm-hmm. From a database view, I find when I go in the shops, I find that most really are not tracking plan giving opportunities, at least through their database. And I don't know why. I mean, is it just, it's not a priority? It's too complicated? Any thoughts around that?
Yeah, so a lot of people think it's complicated. I always see things that tend to be more burdensome or complicated than it really needs to be. If you think about plan giving prospects and what you work with, they're major gift prospects, or they could be blended prospects, right? Do you see both? Like, how do you see people tracking major gift prospects?
Well, using the, I call it donor management, relationship management, but the moves management.
Exactly.
Process.
Yep,
right.
You got, so plan giving prospects should have the same weight or the same importance as your major gift prospects, because these are your future potential people who could give you big plan gifts in the future.
So if we talk RENXT, because it seems like most people, is that like, any idea what market share they have, RENXT, like in mid-sized or larger charities?
They generally tend to be in the mid-size to large, to mid to large. When you get really big, they usually go to like their enterprise CRM or like a Salesforce, but they tend to have the middle markets, a razor's edge. And a lot of healthcare happens to have razor's edge, some higher ed too, but they tend to do advanced. But all CRMs are similar. They all have their pros and cons. I always say there's no magic wand. When I go into a shop and they say, we just want a new database, I'll be like, why do you want a new database? Because it's not, if you wave a magic wand, it's not going to magically answer your questions. So generally we get into, what are you having trouble with? What are your pain points? And then let's see if we can solve them. So a good pain point, like you mentioned, is how do we track our plan giving prospects? And so what I tell them is you're going to track them in the same way your major gift prospects. So you have a moves management for major gifts. Just track your plan giving folks the same way. So have actions or interactions depending on your system. So track when you identify them, when you are qualifying them, when you're cultivating them, when they give, and then when you steward. So if you think about it, that's the same you're doing for major gifts. So you want to make sure to tag them as a plan giving prospect, use the actions or interactions to track your moves with them. And then, like you mentioned, you need to know your opportunities, right? So you want to track your opportunities in the same way you would a major gift prospect. And so what are the biggest plan gifts that you see, Joe?
Well, it's beneficiary gifts, of course. Leave us in your will or retirement plan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that leads maybe to another point. Let's say our shop, we're counting revocable gifts for donors 70 and over.
Mhm.
And let's say they are open to providing a dollar amount. Well, yeah, let's say it's a dollar amount. Let's say I'm going to leave you $100,000 in my retirement plan. How would you record that as a gift, as a pledge for a dollar, or what would you do or suggest?
But a lot of CRMs have a planned gift type. So you want to use the planned gift. You enter it as a new gift as a planned gift. If you don't have the planned giving feature in your CRM, then you want to attach some kind of code. It's usually called like a gift subtype, a gift code, a gift attribute. So you can say this is a planned gift request intention. You also want to track whether it's documented or non-documented, because I get asked all the time, it's just a verbal. Should we put verbals in? Absolutely. You should put verbals in, but you should tag it as a verbal. So then when you're going to do reporting, you know that you can exclude those because you're not allowed to count verbals.
So the $100,000 one, would that go in? Is there a dollar amount? Is it a dollar?
Yeah. If
Is it revocable?
so, are you saying they give you 100,000 verbal or documented, or either?
Well, even documented. Here I'll document it. $100,000 out of my IRA upon our passing. We hope you don't see it for a long time, but if we need the money, if Lorraine or I need the money, you're not going to get anything. But I'll put it in writing. We both understand it's revocable.
Sure. So if you do $100,000 in the actual amount, you'd put it in as the gift amount is 100,000. You have it tagged as a plan gift, whether it's verbal or documented or undocumented. Sometimes you'll get like a percentage, like you're in my will for 10%.
Yep.
So that would go in as a $0 amount if you don't know their estate amount, but then in the reference, or some people have it drop down, well, they'll put a percentage of their estate, and in the reference, they'll say 10%. Because you always want to know, obviously it can always change, right? Even documented ones can be revocable, but you always want to document what they tell you. And then as you follow up as the gift officer and that changes, you want to communicate that to the operations folks so they can update it as they move along.
Right. So we can count it now. And then when the donor passes, I'm joking. I know you database people hate that. Let's count it now. And then, hey, 20, 30 years from now, nobody will remember anyway. We'll count it again.
Well, I shouldn't say you'll be surprised. I've seen a lot over the years. But a lot of times what I see is I go in there and people have been so afraid to put anything in the system because we can't count it. But then they do a workaround and put it in the system. And then the people who follow them don't know it's an actual planned gift. So they accidentally end up double counting it because they don't know, because it was like jerry rigged in there. So I always say, be straightforward, be transparent, know what you can or can't count. And there's regulations and reporting guidelines that you want to follow.
Awesome. And so we have just a couple minutes left on this one. So in RENXT, the places that we can track plan giving prospects or opportunities, we have constituent codes, right? We could have a plan giving prospect code there, correct?
You can. Not everyone chooses to do that, but you absolutely can if that's the preference.
Is that a bad idea for any reason?
Well, you tend to have a small handful of plan giving prospects, and it's usually like it's double entry into two different systems, two different ways to see it. So it's better to track it on the actual gift itself, on the opportunity, on the actions, and you can always pull those out, because your constituent code is really meant to say, here's our giving by constituency code. And really, these are intentions. They're not people who actually already gave.
Thank you. I will stop doing that.
That's all right. Again, there's no right or wrong way. There's so many different ways to do it. And Razor's Edge, people get pulled all over the place.
Yeah, but what you say makes obviously a lot of sense. And then in opportunities, if we're using opportunities, we can do it there. And then down, I always forget, towards the bottom, it's classification and status, right? Another area we can do that.
Perfect place to do it. So that's your best place to tag it as a plan giving prospect.
Okay, cool. Great. Anything else for our Plain folks while I have
What
you?
I just say is, I mean, I'm a data person. I can be in the database all day long, but I do have a true sensitivity to those on the front line who can only handle so much database. So I always say partner together to make it simplified, easy, and intuitive, because then you as a gift officer is going to want to use it. And then if you put it in, you'll be able to get it out in reporting, and your fundraising efforts will be that much more fruitful.
Awesome. Great. Jenny Kleintop from Philanthropy Ops, as in operations. How can people find you, get in touch with you? I know you have a really great video series on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm all over LinkedIn. I post a lot of content, so connect with me on LinkedIn. And I also have a website, and you can sign up for my Insights newsletter, and that's philanthropyops.com.
Great. Thank you,
Thanks for
Jenny.
having me, Joe.
My pleasure. See you again.